Hi, everyone. Thanks for watching today. I'm glad you're here. And I'm going to talk about Friend a Tree Week first here. Friend a Tree Week I started a couple years ago. It's all about learning to channel or learning to feel tree energy and how to send intentions, your deepest soul's intentions, as well as any intention you want for your life, to send those through the tree. And as the tree draws up the xylem and phloem and up to the leaves, or I guess maybe one comes down, I don't know, but it draws them up and out into the universe, and it draws up your intentions that you send with the tree and out into the universe. Much more powerful, much more amplifying than just our own. And so Friend a Tree Week is starts this week, just like the energies of the moon waxes and wanes. For Friend a Tree Week, I start it 3 days before the equinox. So that starts the 19th. The equinox, depending on where you're located and such, would be around the 22nd. It might be the 21st where you're living. And anyway, and then it would go as the energies of the moon wanes, just like those, then the energies of the equinox wanes also. And so it will go 3 days after the equinox to September 25th. And I have lots of free information about Friending a Tree Week on the link here on my website, Friend a Tree Week, ancestralriver.com/Friend a Tree Week, or just Friend a Tree. And so I hope you go there and check it out. I have that information as far as how to hold a tree. I have a video showing how I was holding a tree and sending my intentions. I have a chapter from my book, or a partial chapter from my book, where I was learning about these these the desires that our spirit holds, the deepest desires. And I learned about these through an experience in hypnosis, and learned more in meditation. When I knew this story all my life, but when I was born, and all of us have a birth story, and when I was born, my mom and dad weren't ready for another baby. My brother was less than a year old, and he had been very colicky and cranky. That was their first child, and they didn't have as much money as they would have liked, and so times were a little tight, and the crying was on their nerves. And then they found out they were going to have another baby and weren't ready yet. And so I felt I wanted to find out. I knew that story, and I was always loved and wanted and treated kindly all my life from my parents. But I wanted to find out because every time I received a biofield tuning session, the practitioner would kind of get stuck at the outer edge, because that's conception, gestation, and birth. So something significant registered in my stuck energy, or beginning these roadblocks that we build up through our lives, these roadblocks and detours through our biofield. And so I wanted to experience, well, what did I really feel in my life? What did I really feel during gestation, when my mom and dad were reacting with that resistance to finding out they were pregnant again? And so I've ended up doing three, I believe, hypnosis sessions, um, pinpointing the feelings I had during that time. And after that, after the first or second one, then I pinpointed it further, and I took myself to the very edge, and then I could resume afterwards. But that feeling that I felt as an adult in hypnosis, right, feeling what I felt as a fetus, uh, was so strong, was so fearful and scary and terrifying to me. I was fearing for my life because I wasn't wanted. And anyway, that was my hypnosis experience. But even beyond that, deeper than that fear that I felt, what I felt most strongest of all was this deep, deep, deep desire to be back in the oneness so that I would know that fullness and joy and love and that I'm part of, that we're made of, that I would know that oneness with the oneness. and and then I was shown where that's our all of us. That's our heart's deepest desire, that we would know our oneness, that we would fully realize how integral a part we are of the universe and how much we're greatly loved and a part of that great love and joy of the oneness of the universe. And so then I was shown in my different experiences what all about what that knowing our oneness was for, and how one of my ancestors then that I had met when I was tuning myself and clearing ancestral patterns, the ancestor was from long, long ago when the giant trees were still around. And he had heard my spirit's desires. He was when he was looking forward into the future, and he saw me and knew that I was ready to receive this information. And so he began holding my spirit's intentions. And that's how I learned about holding, was from him and connecting with him during hypnosis sessions, connecting with him in the oneness, and also in through meditation and through my biofield work when I would get to know him. And so I learned about this deepest intentions of holding our spirit's intentions, and how that intention of knowing our oneness has 5 parts to it, and those are based on the 5 spiritual chakras. So um, those things I encourage. That's why I started Friend a Tree Week. You're more than welcome to share, to hold any intentions for your life or for your loved ones. I also encourage you to hold these spirits' intentions, and there's more information about those on that link again here. But the first one I'll talk about today is that we know that we're spirit beings, that we know that our spirit is meant to lead and guide our mind. When we have this experience as a physical being and our anytime we hop into fight or flight, even the chronic low grade fight or flight, anything that takes us out of being calm and centered and the 2 hemispheres of our mind communicating smoothly to each other, anytime that we're taken out of that through any type of the fight or flight reaction within our bodies, then we don't hear our spirit. And because it's habitual, that at this time that we're so often in fight or flight, some people go into fight or flight and never come back out of fight or flight. Your body always stays in the chronic fight or flight situation. Some people have that. Some of us experience that at different times in our lives. And so it's so important to stay grounded and to calm that fight or flight and restore the smooth flow of communication between the hemispheres of your mind. And so that's what holding is about. When you can, when that communication is good between the hemispheres and you hear your spirit, then you'll know that you're a spirit being, and you'll know that your spirit is designed to lead and guide your mind. The next point of it is to hold is to desire to hear your spirit, and to learn to be able to recognize the time when you're at that decision point of reacting with that fight or flight part of your mind, or reflecting, staying centered, hearing your spirit, and choosing how you would like to react. The third part is to consciously choose then to live a spirit being in every present moment, in every lifetime. And so I think I'll stop there, but there's more information, please, on the website. If you're interested, check it out. If you just want to hold your own intentions, that's fine. And I'm going to share here the little poster I made about Friend of Tree Week. And that's again on ancestralriver.com. And the link there is showing still. So you can pause it if you want and look at that or write it down or go to the site. Otherwise, we'll stop there and with that, and I'll go into the regular podcast. And I wanted to start here. We're still doing what I call mooning the ancestors in this podcast series. The moon energies are so much about our passions and desires, and that's what we're meant to be as spirit beings. We're meant to hear our spirit, to listen to those spirit's desires, both that deep yearning one to know our oneness with God, with source, with the oneness, as I just spoke about, and also to listen to those desires and passions that just we have, that only we can give to the world in our experience, in the way we can experience. And so it's important to listen to your spirit and hear your own passions and desires, and then to figure out or learn how to fully express those in the best way that's authentic, that's genuine, and that is in a way that many people can hear and understand or have understanding of, and partake of or learn from, to help them on their journey. And so that's what mooning the ancestors is all about, maintaining the communication between the hemispheres of your brain so you can listen to your spirit, and communicating with others and expressing this desire, communicating with spirit to hold those spirit's desires and manifest those in your life. And so I'm going to be reading from the Tree Oracle card. I've pulled a card earlier. Here's the Tree Oracle box. I just got them on Amazon for, I don't remember, under $20, I think. And the card I pulled today was the Birch card. I'll hold that so you can look at it. The birch is a beautiful tree. And I just wanted to look at the card here and see how it symbolizes. I don't know if you can see that. If you can look intently at it and see the angel within the tree. As the sun strikes all the leaves of the tree, and the angel is amplifying that and sending the energy all throughout the tree, just like holding the intentions do, amplifying it and filling the space, sending it out throughout the universe like this tree angel is doing. And I was just looking to see if there's anything else that strikes me. For me, it's full of that, sending out that energy. So I'm going to read about the birch. The birch is life's ancient yet eternally youthful nursemaid. Her spirit is a spark of the ancient mother who gives birth to creation. She brings light to the landscape and into the human heart. She comforts us with her graceful youth because she reminds us of the eternal regenerative power of nature. When the time comes, everything is transformed. It is never too late to begin again. This is her message to us. Birch's presence helps us to let go of the past, to purify ourselves and start afresh with an open heart and open arms. Don't cling on to outmolded ideas, feelings of guilt or construction. Don't cling to that resistance that causes the blocks and detours in your biofield. Don't cling to those emotions you feel that you don't like, that we often do because they're painful or sad. Free yourself from the expectations of others and those you place on yourself. You are much more than the limited picture you have of yourself. Hide nothing, be fearless. Accept and flow with the changes, sway in the breeze, bathe in the light, and recreate yourself anew. Recreate yourself by fully expressing those spirit's desires, letting the tree amplify them to the universe to begin that restorative process, to begin that amplification of fully expressing yourself as we are meant to do. Without the presence of birch trees, we become numb and stiff. We are paralyzed by the patterns of the past, fearing change. If the situation becomes chronic, things deteriorate and become toxic, just like those are reactions I was talking about with the fight or flight. The fight or flight causes the detours and roadblocks and bumps in our biofield, and it begins to stay chronic if we don't consciously if we're not consciously able to calm our mind and restore that flow within us. Mentally, we become stubborn or dogmatic, and physically, we develop illnesses such as rheumatism or others. And so, this is the energy of the birch tree to help us flow with life, to help us give of that passion we experience, to hold the trees and send our intentions throughout the universe, to let go of the past through ancestral clearing, past lives. I'm finding out more and more and more of past lives are the stuck energy in their life and their intentions of wanting to do better. So uh, holding on to those and trying to find them again in the current life and express those in a more helpful way, they're not helpful at all. And we have such a great record of past lives in our biofield. And the oracle about it, we stand naked before God, before spirit, like newborn, innocent. So delve deep within, empty yourself, then open your eyes and see those passions and desires that we're meant to have, that we're designed with, to hold those spirit's intentions and to fully express our own. Follow your heart and take your first steps into a new world. And I wish that for you. And the moon energies are all about passions and desires. And the moon energy this week it's called the new quarter moon, and it's happening in the Gemini area of the universe, with those celestial energies. Um, I don't usually think of the new moon as the first moon. I think the moon starts with the full moon, just like our example in life, where society or people in general, our lives, we started out whole and complete, and as we go and build up roadblocks in the universe and roadblocks within ourselves, we wane until our light doesn't shine very much. And then you find out who you are and begin to be healed and begin to fully express yourself and know you're integral part of the universe. And as you do and clear those roadblocks that's formed, your light begins to shine brighter and brighter and brighter until it becomes the full moon again, fully expressing yourself as all we're meant to be, flowing without the resistance, um, being centered and grounded to hear our spirit with that pure communication. So I think of the full moon as where the cycle starts. But most information is found is that the new moon starts the cycle. And so this quarter moon, this week is in Gemini. And so Gemini energies amplify those passions and desires that the moon symbolizes. And this week, it's about communication. Being really careful of watching your words, not just words, but how you communicate your tone of voice, the expression on your face. Are you your energy as you doing it? Are you pushy? Are you demanding? Even if your words are good, even if there's not a bad expression on your face, what's your energy like? Are you calm? Are you grounded? Are you centered? Are you treating people? Are you living in the freedom, abundance, and love that we're designed to? Are you treating others with that freedom and abundance and love? And so it's all about staying centered so the communication between your hemispheres of your mind are clear and free so that you can hear your spirit and choose your words carefully from your heart, out of love and freedom. And so that's what the energies are this week, to pay attention to how you're speaking, the expression on your face. And it's a time for take more time for reflection, to recalibrate your energies to calm and center. And Gemini is the sign of language and social intelligence. And so you're being asked to pay special attention to the words and dynamics in your relationships with others, not just, especially so, I should say, your family or your spouse, but also those all the relationships in your life, at work or with your neighbors, um, with any of your relationships. So your words are greatly powerful. They can heal us, they can heal others. They can create bridges or burn the bridges. And your ability to use your voice with love and clarity and intention is magnified this week under the Gemini energies. So if you find yourself like at a crossroads or at a not a helpful communication, or things, um, relationships with others that are tense, take time to pause and breathe deeply and then choose your word. What is it you're really wanting to communicate? And how is the best way to put that into voice? So, and this becomes your your best tool, this ability to pay attention to how you're talking, what your body language is. It's a beautiful tool, and this week then will bring situations that might cause tenseness. People react in tenseness to these energies. And so remember this, that it's all about that communication this week. And the more that you're able to catch that in process of when that's happening, and either pull back from your reacting in fight or flight of some kind, low grade or a powerful fight or flight, either to pull back or to catch it before it begins and go into these situations in calm, in love, in listening to your spirit. And so this week those energies bring you opportunities to do that, to help make that your new pattern instead of the reacting in fight or flight. And as it brings the communication, it also brings what we need for clear communication, which is insight and trust and discernment. To You know that not everybody in the circle that you encounter during your life has your best mind at heart, has your best heart, and you know what I mean, has your best interest in mind. But you can still perceive this and then choose how you can react. Choose to protect your own energy before you go into situations, and to pause and to create the space you need to find the words you need to speak. And so be careful as you speak. And like I said, especially with loved ones and family. Um, and if you need to speak harshly to someone, or do it as firmly but kindly as you can and speak your truth. And maybe it's part of the this phase, this part of your life where certain relationships need to go. And if you can't speak your truth in a relationship, then maybe it's time for the relationship to go or to change. It doesn't have to end, but definitely speak your truth in a kind and firm way. Stand up for yourself, communicate that effectively, and it'll create a much better picture in your life, a much better part of your life, a restoration of those energies that we're designed to have. And I wanted to talk a little bit now about the ancestors and how they communicate. A lot of times ancestors come to sessions and they're ready to clear they're ready to transition. A lot of times they come because they know that we're going to clear what they need to clear in the biofields or in the body so that they're able to transition, so that their voltage becomes high enough, or their mind then is can become freer. If we release these old patterns, they're free to be able to drop those and to move forward. And sometimes their communication is effective and sometimes it's not as much so. And sometimes I'm in um, have to talk to them very firmly about what I allow, about what I allow in the sessions, about what energy we need in the sessions, and about what their options are of staying in the waiting place, as I call it, or of tuning into their own spirit and becoming more ready to transition. As the ancestors transition and become ready to transition, their mindset changes, just like ours change as we clear energy and develop new communication patterns in our lives. Their energies change too. And by the time they transition, it's just so full of love and gratitude. Sometimes they come with great curiosity in wanting to know how the biofield sessions work, and wanting to see into the computer, to see you if I'm working with your ancestor or whatever, and to see how this communication works. They're very curious. They're filled with wonder. And a session I was doing yesterday, at the end, it was just so full of this love and gratitude. And and I and my client I was working with, we were both started crying. We were so filled with this love and gratitude for us that the ancestors gave, and the love and gratitude, the wonder of how the universe works this way, and the beauty that exists in each of us and in everything in the universe, and how this healing and clearing process works. It was beautiful. And that's I'm just going to pause and see if I'm guided to speak of anything else. I just want to share that love with you that the universe has with us. And through the Friend of Tree Week this week, may you be able to share your love for your family through your intentions, your love for yourself and what you want in your life, how you want to fully express those spirit's desires that you have, and of how you can hold those intentions for everyone in the universe and send them through a tree your great love and gratitude and wonder through the trees. And so I encourage you to do that this week, to hold the tree, to place your hands on the tree. If you're barefoot, all the better, because the energy can be stronger that way. but it's not mandatory. Just go to a large tree. It does need to be a large tree because they have stronger energy than the young trees. And so just put your hands there. You can lay your forehead against it too, or your face, or your whole body hugging the tree. And just listen, quiet your mind, and feel the energies. And with practice, or maybe some of you would hear it right away, but with practice, you all can feel the energy of the tree. And once you feel the energy, hold those intentions and desires of your heart and ask the tree to send them throughout the universe for the highest good of all. And do that every day from September 19th to 25th. As join the collective in doing this to make all these energies more powerful, as we're all holding positive desires for our loved ones and holding these deep spirit's desires of our hearts to know our oneness with God, to know our oneness with spirit, with the universe. And again, more free information is at ancestralriver.com/friend a tree, with dashes between the friend a tree. So that's our podcast for today. Please join me tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock Central Time, and we'll tune for these energies. We'll tune ourselves to speak, to gain clarity, to gain discernment, to speak clearly, authentically, genuinely from our heart, and firmness and kindness and love, with the mindset of freedom and abundance and love. And then please mark on your calendar the next full moon, when we do the old world energy grid tuning, and that will be, the full moon is on Tuesday, October 7th, and that'll be at 7 p.m. Central Time also. So please mark that on your calendar to join us that day. So that's all for now. And again, thank you for being here. Bye-bye.